How you doing, y'all? Welcome to Confidence. We got a very special episode today. I'm really excited. So, I was trying to think about what I wanted to do for this episode, and I kind of got a lifeline. So I had this girl reach out to me over Instagram, and she's like, "Yo, I really need your help. I'm going through something like really in this moment, and I need you. Like, what's your voice coaching situation?" So I tell her. I gave her my number, sent her my Venmo, and here we are. So I helped this girl out tonight, and she's in a situation where she's met this new guy, and she's actually going to tell you all this. But she met this new guy, and she was in a situation where she was feeling very anxious, and she didn't know what to do. So I'm going to play the voice note that she sent me, and I'm going to then play my response to her with this voice note. So what we're going to do is we're going to listen to this situation. You're going to see my coaching in real time, real action. And again, I didn't plan to have this on the podcast. I just looked at the situation. I was like, a lot of people can definitely benefit from hearing this. I know that there's a lot of people, especially women, that have been in this situation before and don't know how to necessarily handle some uncomfortable feelings, especially early on in the dating process. So there's going to be a lot in there. And then what we're going to do is after I play my note, we'll react. I have a couple themes that I wrote down, just from the actual interaction. I even talked to her a little bit after, and I got some extra information. So this is going to be great. I'm excited for you guys to see this in real time. And let's get into it. I'm going to play it. And like I said, we'll break it down after, and we'll talk about some stuff. All right, let's do it. You ready?
So basically, I recently moved to Texas from Michigan. I wanted a better life for myself. I was getting into bad things in my hometown, like going back to exes, going back to old people I should have let go. It was just bad energy. But I'm frustrated with myself today because I met a guy here. And look, I know it's really soon, but I'm trying to save my ass from ruining this or from spiraling. So that's why I reached out to you. But there's a guy here. He's another Scorpio, But I was just taken back by our first date and how good he treated me. I have never in my life been treated the way he treated me that first date. And I know how it's the first date, they could be putting on a show. I think of all of these scenarios, and I have trust issues. I've been cheated on a lot. I've been let down. Everything. I feel like I've experienced it all. And I have so much PTSD from past hurt that I am going a million miles per hour in my head about this guy. I'm trying not to get attached too early. I will say I did fuck up and I slept with him on the first night. Me and him both didn't want to, and we kept saying that. And then we kind of both we're like, oh my God, we started making out. The tension was there. He took me on a picnic in the park for the first date. We went back to his house later. So that's where it happened. And then a few days later, he planned the second date. We went out on the second date 2 days ago, 2 nights ago. And it was great, amazing. He bought me flowers both times. He opened the car door for me. He he's just affectionate, right? And he would communicate to me how he's feeling. He would check up on me and say, how are you feeling? I've never been through that, he wrote down on pieces of paper, questions to ask me to get to know me better. That's never happened before, so I'm falling for this guy already. I don't know if it's love bombing, but he's just a very romantic person. So second date, sorry, I'm kind of, going on a rant, but I'm wrapping it up. So basically, the second date, we went to like an arcade with pizza, and then we went on a hike, basically like around like Austin. So he's like showing me different areas, like where they kayak and everything. So it was really nice. Like both dates were like genuinely like not just a dinner and boring. And then that night, the second date, he came over and stayed, and we did things, but we didn't sleep together. Because I was just like, nah, let's just take it easy tonight. So we watched a movie and everything. He stayed the night. Next day, he followed up, texted me, asked how I'm doing. He texts me every day. He's the first to text. We don't text too much, which I like because, like plan the dates. We'll see each other. We'll talk then. But he canceled today's date that we were supposed to have. We were supposed to have like a movie day, movie night, whatever. And he said he wants to reschedule because he's too tired and he's drained. So in my head, I'm like, all right, what does this mean? Like, you're too tired to like come chill and watch movies? Like, so now I'm in my head, like spinning, like, why did he cancel? And like, I get it, life happens, but now I'm like anxious as fuck saying, great, is this another love bomb? Like, what should I do? What should I say? Basically, what I said to him was, okay, it's all good, no worries. That's what I said. And he said, yeah, I'm just drained. So he's like being short about it. So I'm just a little like, I'm like freaking out, and I know it's so stupid, but this is kind of like something I want to take control over before it gets bad, like before like I screw it up or something. So it's kind of silent on both our ends now. And now I'm like, do I just keep like going with the flow? But at the same time, my nervous system is like shot right now. Like, I'm just so fearful and scared of what's going to happen. And I need guidance, I think. Thank you.
All right. So I'm going to play my response. That was great. And first off, you're not stupid for having these feelings and thoughts. None of you are. Very prototypical situation. So I'm going to play my response to that, and let's see if we can get her some help.
So, thank you for the voice note. I understand exactly where you're at. I appreciate you for telling me how you're feeling right now. I understand the anxiety. Seems to me like there's a connection to, maybe some of the relationships that you've had in your past, right? Your upbringing. What you pretty much alluded to is that you're fearful in relationships, right? There's some sort of insecure attachment there, probably a little bit of anxiousness, probably a little bit of avoidance. Most people are both. It seems like you're leaning more anxious. So the thing is, sometimes what happens is when we're in relationships, somebody does something that is out of our control, right? And then we're stuck in this gray area. And this is, I guess, what is really happening right now. This is one of your triggers, right? It's actually one of my triggers as well. One of my triggers is when people cancel plans, or they ghost, or they shift in their energy, or they don't tell me the truth. I get really anxious. And I guess that's kind of where you're at right now, right? You're being triggered by this situation. Now, the way that he's shown up to you so far has been great. Like you said, you don't know if it's a love bombing situation. Here's the thing. There's no need to determine that yet, right? Because you don't have that information yet. And what's happening right now is your mind is trying to protect you. You're feeling a fear in your body. And with a fear, what ends up happening? Overthinking in the head. So from this feeling that you have underneath of fear, right? And we need to identify the fear, right? Is it the fear that they're going to leave you? It kind of sounds like that, right? A little bit of abandonment. And because he's triggering that, it's triggering all these overthinking, anxious thoughts in your head. Oh, does he like me? Did I do all the right things? Is this over? Is this a love bomb? All this mind chatter. But again, remember, it's just chatter. It's not, that stuff is not real. I want you to understand that stuff is not real. What's real is the feeling that you're having. What's real is the feeling that you're having underneath, which is, hey, I'm uncertain, And because of that uncertainty, it's making me think these things. So if he's shown up, really well up until this point, you have to trust that, right? I think there is an element of going with the flow. And this is the work for you to move past that insecure attachment. This is the work right here. The work is, are we able to take a confident action or, try our best to get into our body and feel those negative feelings and let it go? Because that's what we need to happen here, right? I would assume, right, if this was the old version of you, I'm not really sure, right? You said you're in abusive relationships. Abusive relationships, in my history of working with them, right, we have somebody on the other side that struggles with abandonment. And because of that fear of loss, right, that fear of this being too good to be true, we then overthink ourselves into doing something. With most of my anxious attachers, it's actually the work is not doing shit. It's, are you able to be able to sit in the discomfort of this moment and let it go, right? I have no idea whether or not homie's going to show back up, and here's the thing too, it's pretty excessive for him to go from one degree to the next. Now, this is part of dating, right? There are some people that are like this. Now, you don't need to label it love bombing or whatever, right? There was obviously good energy and excitement towards the connection. And, both of you were participating in that. That's okay, right? We don't need to label it or call it something or think that it's some malicious thing, right? We're getting to know people. But this is the struggle with, I think, sleeping with somebody fast. And again, not because it's wrong. Genuinely, it's not that. What happens is for my women that sleep with a guy early, the attachment immediately goes up, right? We immediately go, oh shit, right? Now, because here's the thing, it's chemical. It's chemical in your body to be more attached to the situation as soon as you cross that physical barrier. And so that's what makes it difficult, right? Because now you're like, fuck, am I going to be too much or whatever it is? This is a moment for you to get into your body, sit with that feeling. I want you to get into the discomfort. I want you to almost sit down on your couch, even deep breathing, eyes closed, silence. And I want you to feel in your body wherever you feel that tension. That's all you need to do. I know that sounds weird, but all you need to do is sit there and find that discomfort in your body, wherever it's sitting, and let it pass through your body. So it's going to feel uncomfortable. It might feel overwhelming. Sit with it. Let it go. And then remind yourself this, right? As soon as you get out of that, I have no control over whether or not this person continues to choose me or not. If he doesn't, that's on him. That has nothing to do with my value as a woman, right? Because we don't know what he's going through, what he's experiencing, what's happening. But when somebody's just tired and they just don't feel like hanging out, okay, it is what it is, right? That happens sometimes. That's not, you know what I'm saying? We can't expect every single person to show up every single time. You're going to have days like this in relationships. This is just what it is. I remember early on in my previous situation, it's very similar. We planned to hang out on a Wednesday, and we had just hung out a couple days in a row. It was hot and heavy. It was early. And then that Wednesday, she's like, hey, I'm going to be honest, I got a lot of shit to do, and I can't hang out today. What was my first reaction? She doesn't like me, right? We go right to black and white thinking. Oh, it's over. That's it. They don't like me anymore. But the only reason you're feeling that is because of past situations and trauma and fear that because there's a shift in energy, that means automatically abandonment, which is not true. So you got to remind yourself of a couple things. Number one, you can handle uncomfortable emotions. In this moment, I want you to lean into the uncomfortable emotion and not shy away from it. And then remind yourself, I can handle uncomfortable emotions. You are okay. You are safe. What's the worst possible outcome? He doesn't follow through with you. Yeah, that would not feel good for a day or two, right? It's going to be like, that's tough. That felt good. But now okay, well, if somebody's showing up like that and then they don't follow through, it doesn't mean anything just yet. But that's the presence that we need to have early on. And maybe this is a lesson for you to hold that boundary a little further, right? Because you want to get to know somebody a little bit deeper before crossing that barrier because of these things. These are learning lessons. It has nothing, you get what I'm saying? There's no such thing as a bad action. You're not wrong for doing that. It's all a learning process. So that's what you got to remind yourself of too. Remind yourself that you're a learner. That's it. You're not supposed to be perfect. You're never going to be perfect. But the best thing that we can do in this situation, every situation, is get into our feelings, identify our feelings, and take a very confident action. And in this particular case, when you're talking about this guy, he's shown up and now he's telling you he's tired, let him be tired. Okay. Imagine if this is one of your friends that's a girl. How would you treat it? Would you bat an eye? Would you be like, oh, okay, she can't chill today. All right. You go on with your day. Now, obviously, it's different. There's an energy shift. There's romance. There's sex. There's all this stuff. So it's deeper than that. I understand that, right? We're not going to ignore how he feels. How you feel is, wow, I'm anticipating disappointment because of my past wounds. It doesn't mean it's necessarily true. And so that's where you need to question your mind and say, no, that's not it. I'm feeling this way right now, but if he wants to take his time and he needs a moment, okay, go take your moment. I got to trust in myself that God has a plan. Whatever you believe in, it doesn't matter. You need to believe in something beyond yourself, that the world's got your back. Don't you worry. You're going to be safe. Like I said, worst case, homie doesn't show up. Okay. You're telling me you can't handle that? You're telling me from the situations that you've gone through, you can't navigate those feelings? Yes, you can. So remind yourself of that. Remind yourself of that strength in being able to sit with something like this. Sit with it. And tomorrow, that's it. Wake up, brand new day, kick some ass, right? Do your thing. Do the things that make you happy. Lean into yourself. I know that's easier said than done. But like I said, key is sit with the emotion, let it go, nothing you need to do. Trust that if he's the right guy, he's being honest. He's being real. Because here's the thing, if he's just dilly-dallying, giving you excuse, and then he just goes, that guy is not showing up with emotional intelligence. If he really had an issue or he really didn't want to do something, most people would be honest. And so you got to trust in honesty. Okay, you're telling me you're being honest. Why can't we believe people when they tell us something, right? And that is where our work comes in, right? Okay, I'm going to give everybody the chance to be honest and real. Until he breaks that, you got to give him the benefit of the doubt. Believe that if it's meant to be for you, that it will be. And then let go of control. You don't control the outcome of anybody. You don't control another human being, ever. So what you're better off doing is finding some grounded confidence within yourself, trusting that the right people are going to come into your life and the wrong people are going to exit. And yes, are we going to navigate uncomfortable emotions with that? Definitely. But you don't control this guy. You didn't do something. Oh, I fucked this up. No such thing. Get that out of your head immediately. Because you don't control whether or not homie wants to be there and wants to show up and is consistent and is truly ready for a relationship. Some people show that they are and then they're really not. But here's the thing. We don't even need to live with fear. Live with love. If you had unconditional love for yourself, how would you approach this situation? And honestly, you think about it. Think about your. I want you to visualize it like this. Your little child self is scared, right? Little Shelby. I think your name is Shelby. I hope. Right? And sometimes I do this with myself when I'm having those anxious moments. My name's Chris. I'm like, it's okay, Chris. It's all right. I remind and I soothe my younger self and I say, hey, we're adults. We can handle these things. These things happen. It's not a reflection of my worth. It's not a reflection of my energy. I showed up as honest as I can and I can't control anything else. That's it. Some people are going to show up. Some people are not. Doesn't mean you were unworthy. Doesn't mean that you were not on the right path. And then just sit with it. And then just sit with it. And then let it go. Let it go. Breathe through that feeling. You got this. You're going to handle this. You're going to let it go. And if he's the right guy, he's going to continue to be consistent. Trust his word until he breaks that trust. And this is what being secure is about. It's about relinquishing the ego. You don't need to control him. You need to be aware of the way that you feel and be honest to yourself and to him. And if it becomes a pattern, then we don't fuck with that, right? If he's doing that constantly. But if he's doing it one time, let it go. Well, I mean, come on. Give the man his moment and a chance. And yeah, let's see that he continues to show up the way that he does. Because then if it's not, then what was all that, right? And again, when somebody goes that hard at the beginning, you got to remind yourself, you know nothing about me. You just think I'm hot. Honestly, yeah, we can have a good vibe. But still, you don't know anything about him. He doesn't know anything about you. Remind yourself of that. That's why it's not that personal. Because even though he's doing all this shit for you, That's not grounded in you are just this special girl. It's just the way that he treats people initially, right? And not to say you're not special. But do you see what I'm saying? Let go of the ego. Let go of that. You got this.
Hell fucking yeah, brother. That's some good old fashioned voice note coaching. Yeah, a lot from that. And by the way, like, I did ask her if I could use that. I sent her money back. So I just also want to say shout out and thank you to her for allowing me to share that. And I just felt that it was really powerful for people to hear, because I know a lot of people are in those situations. They're talking to somebody new. They're spiraling. They don't know what to do with themselves. Hopefully you took a lot from that, right? Navigating the uncomfortable emotions, huge key, right? When you're overthinking, how can you get into your body, drop in, and relinquish that feeling? Now, it's not going to go away just in a moment, right? That's not how it works. But at the same time too, it's the only way to actually move through and to build that strength. It's almost like you're building a callus, because we want to have that self-security that it's going to be okay and that we're going to be safe. And I think that's one of the hardest things. To really feel like we're going to be safe in those moments is not easy. And especially if you've come from a background like she has, where she's had a lot of trauma, she's had a lot of people not show up for her. So you're almost anticipating that it's already going to happen. But ultimately, we need our vulnerability if we're going to be with somebody. We're going to need self-security if we're going to create a confident, loving, great relationship. That's really what it comes down to. Now, a couple things that were that I wanted to pick out that were interesting about this situation. The first thing is like the second date, right? She felt like the date was hot and heavy on that first one, right? They slept with each other. She's feeling some regret over that. The next date, they hang out, good date, and she denies going all the way with him. And one thing I wrote down is like, maybe he's doing a little bit of punishment. Hey, last time we didn't, do what he wanted to do. And apparently he was a little bit eager to do that the second time. Of course, you already crossed that line, right? Now you're wanting to do it again. But maybe this is one of those moments where it's like, all right, you didn't want to sleep with me. Okay. Well, I'm tired tonight. I can't do it tonight. And again, we don't think about it that way. We think about it like, oh, this guy just doesn't fuck with me. But it also could be his own little bullshit energy. And this is what we don't have insight to sometimes. And again, we take it personal. We make it about us, right? Oh, we're not worthy. No, maybe this guy actually just really did want to hook up, or now that he did hook up, that's all he's looking at it for. And that's it. The thing is, and this is what I told her too, right? And this is the hard part. What do you do if you slept with him or you slept with somebody and now you're anxious, right? You're anxious because now you don't know where it's going to go, especially when you do it early, right? We're talking about the first date that they're crossing that barrier. Here's what I told her I didn't want her to do. If you make that choice, you made the choice, but be where you are. Be where you are in the relationship. Remember where you are in the relationship. You're still date 1, date 2. You have no idea where this relationship is going, and you're still in that phase where you truly are just getting to know somebody. So the thing is, I don't want her to turn around and be this anxious wreck towards this guy. Now, all of a sudden, right, he says he doesn't want to chill. Now she's the one that's trying to pick up the slack, right? Oh, well, maybe I should just she's feeling this fear. What happens? Overthinks herself into thinking like, oh, did I ruin this? Did I ruin this? Then what happens? Most of my anxious, they'll turn around the next day and they'll start acting a little bit extra nice, a little bit extra. Oh, maybe we should do something and hang out. He said he wanted to reschedule. You let his ass reschedule. Seriously. And here's the thing, you're not wrong for sleeping with somebody because again, if you're in your own confident energy, if you made that choice to go and sleep with somebody, just own it. Just own it. That's not a bad thing. You see what I'm saying? Imagine if you had that grounded confidence in yourself and let's say you did want to sleep with them because you just had the vibe and that was the moment. There's nothing wrong with that. That doesn't make you unlovable. That doesn't make you unworthy. That doesn't make him just all of a sudden not like you. You see what I'm saying? If you have that inner confidence that you make the choices that you want to make and you fucking own the choice, and then you don't just turn around and now you're not acting in fear, but you're still acting from this place of groundedness and from love. I mean, who knows where this connection is going to go? I don't know if this guy's going to continue to show up. It could be a situation where he had a moment and now he doesn't want it, but we don't know that. But what I do know is that it can quickly turn into that, right? This is what it happens, I think, for a lot of women, right? Is like you cross that line of sleeping with him, and then now all of a sudden, you feel the energy of the relationship just automatically goes goes up. And now you feel like you got to do extra and do more. No, treat him the same way you would as if it was a second or third date. And what's great is that's exactly what she did, right? The second date, she's like, you know what? I'm down, but I don't really want to move that fast right now. I know we did that on the first date. We had a vibe, but not today. But what I don't want her to do now is that now that he's being a little standoffish and dismissive, don't turn around into your old pattern of now I got to fix this. Now I got to try to make things happen. Or maybe I gotta put out next time because look at him pouting, or look, now he didn't want to chill with me. You see what I'm saying? If you stay firm in yourself, the other person, I think, even if there's a little bit of contrast, even if there's a little bit of conflict, even if he's a little bit dismissive for a day or two, I think you're showing him something. I think you're showing him like, yeah, I did that, but it doesn't mean we're going to do it every time. It doesn't mean that's what we're going to do. What this relationship is now about. I don't want that. Right. And that's what you need to get smart on too. What is it that you want? If you want that genuine connection, you want to build it. And I think that, to me, the two reasons why I would say take your time before going down that road is that reason in itself. If you want a genuine connection with somebody, you want to build that, build it through friendship, build it through genuine good energy. When you bring the physical into play, now the lines are blurred. Now you don't know what's up, down. You don't know if you guys are only with each other or with random people. Is the ante up? Now she's telling me too. She was like, now I'm only seeing him. I'm like, it's quickly how quick those things went. But just because, you cross that line. And yeah, I would say the second thing too is like, I do think that the attachment increases. I do think that, especially on the woman's side, right? Again, chemically, it's true. You're going to feel that extra attachment. That's when fear then starts to come up. That's when you start doing extra. And that's the thing too, is it's not that you are clingy. It's that what happens is for, I would say, a lot of people, as soon as you cross that threshold and now you feel the connection has deepened, now you're treating the connection where it's not, right? To me, you guys are not dating. You guys are not exclusive. None of that. You guys are literally in the see each other face. Like if you guys were hanging out once a week, it wouldn't be weird at this point. It wouldn't. But now that we cross that line, it almost feels like we need to go faster or we need to up the ante. You see what I'm saying? Be firm in the moment. If you're going to make that choice, own that choice. Just own it. Nothing wrong with it. Like I said, nothing wrong with it. But again, these are the little things, like I said, I told her too, right? Use it as a lesson. If you feel like if this connection just goes sideways and you had to sit through this disappointment and attachment and you feel maybe, hey, that didn't feel good to give myself to somebody and they didn't show up. All right, maybe this relationship was actually more of a lesson than anything else. And that's okay, right? There's nothing wrong with that. She also alluded to like how she doesn't meet a lot of guys that treat her this way, right? She's never met a guy that's treated her this nice. But that's what's crazy. I mean, you're talking about 2 dates. You have no idea how he's actually treating you. Somebody doing really nice things and extravagant things for you early on in the relationship, it does not mean shit. I mean, that's great. Don't get me wrong. Let's gravitate towards that, right? I'm going to gravitate towards the person that shows up with good energy and, is showing effort. We want to lean into that, definitely. But like I said, we don't want to lose sight of where the connection is. And that is the key, especially early on in dating. And especially when we're coming to it from, this previous insecure energy and attachments and relationships in our life. We have to be able to slow ourselves down. Genuinely, truly, that is the number one thing. Slow yourself down. And, again, she makes this choice and it is what it is. And you're not going to be perfect. And that's the other thing too, is like, she was like saying sorry and like, I fucked up. It's like the words that you tell yourself are very powerful as well. It really is. Like she's almost like putting herself down for making choices that she wanted to make in the moment. Are you really a bad person for letting the relationship get hot and heavy? No, you're not at all. So why are we attacking ourselves like we shouldn't have done something when, okay, we did it. Own it. Own the choice. Okay, something else that I wanted to talk about too is the abundance versus scarcity mindset. And this is really important, especially when you're coming off of a lot of toxic situations. It can be very difficult to envision that there are a lot of people that can treat you in a really nice way or is actually going to show up for you. But the reason that is because majority of the time we have stayed in relationships that are not suiting our needs. We are staying in relationships with people that don't treat us well. That's what I'm saying. There's probably a long period of relationship history for this person in which she was in, like she said, abusive relationships or toxic situations. The key is if we have this abundance mindset that there really are good guys out there, what can we do? We can leave situations like this. We won't get trapped in some BS hookup situation if we truly believe that there is another guy that can treat us that way. It's true. The problem is most people don't give enough effort towards that because there's discomfort in being alone. There's discomfort in leaving a toxic relationship. So we sit in these bullshit situations, not realizing that that's the waste of time. The waste of time is not being alone. The waste of time is being with somebody that you know is not it. And that's the thing too. It then builds this story in your head that there's not great people. But I'm like, if you've dated 2 or 3 people, and yes, they were toxic as hell and they were 2-3 years long, think about the amount of other people that you could have potentially dated or went on a date on if you would have said no to the people that were actually toxic. But it's so ingrained in you that relationships are just toxic or that there's not a lot of good people out there. So you sit and deal with bullshit. You see how important it is with these boundaries, with the self-trust, with being able to navigate the uncomfortable emotions. Eventually, you will get to the place where you will receive the things that you want, but you really have to fucking believe that. Really. And this is why you got to get into your beliefs, your underlying beliefs about yourself, your fears. You got to face those fucking fears. That's what this is all about, honestly. It's being able to have or to take the challenge of looking at yourself and saying, what is scaring me about this situation? And genuinely sitting with it and attacking that. Not, again, being an ego, being stuck in your head, overthinking about the other fucking person. It's like, what is this situation telling me about myself? That is how you grow. That is how you make better decisions. And the more that you make those better decisions, they're going to compound. Right? So let's take this situation, right? So moving forward, what do? We sit with this feeling, right? Yeah, it's going to suck. Maybe you're not going to sleep really well. That's tough. It's not easy. Get into the feeling, get into your body, right? Sit with it, breathe, let it go, let it happen. Boom, boom, boom. Show yourself that you could handle that discomfort. You wake up the next day and you navigate. Now, the thing is, if he treats her poorly, right? He's inconsistent. What happens? Most people, anxious, fear of loss. Oh shit. Like, I can't let this slip, right? He treated me so well. I got to salvage this relationship. Whole time you're in your ego, not realizing, oh shit, this person is not showing up for me. You've lost sight of your truth. And if she was to show up confident, right? She's not going to judge herself for sleeping with him. She's just going to treat him as she normally would, give him the benefit of the doubt. And again, if he shows up inconsistent, it's not time to try to make things work. It's time to cut it off. It's time to get out. It's time to say, okay, you showed me all this bullshit, but it was bullshit. But you can't really do that if you're not paying attention to how you're feeling. If you're not paying attention to your experience in the situation. Because she's already probably in her mind, without even realizing it, putting this guy on a pedestal. Right? He's so amazing. He's so nice. We have such a good vibe. We slept with each other. I got to make this shit work. And then what happens? What do? You get stuck in another toxic relationship for fucking 6 months with some guy that's not really showing up for you, but because he gave you those fucking 2 days of razzle dazzle, you're holding on to the BS hope. This is what it's about, folks. I mean, you can do this shit. You could, again, remind yourself, you can navigate this shit. Pay attention to yourself. You could do it. And also too, something that I've been doing with my clients recently. So we're talking about working through those fears, right? So what I want you to do is, last podcast I talk about, ask yourself, what is your deepest fear? Because it's going to tell you a lot about yourself, what is really controlling you. In this particular situation for this girl, right? What is the fear that is controlling her? The fear that is controlling her is fear of loss, right? Fear of abandonment. I'm scared that this person's not going to show up for me. So what I want you to do is to create a mantra to remind yourself of how you want to show up in your relationships. It takes fucking work to discombobulate, what a weird word, to disintegrate, to let go of these negative beliefs. These negative beliefs, you need to take these so fucking seriously. Like I said, they are controlling your whole life. So let's take me as well. So I'm going to give the example of my mantra, and then we're going to create a mantra for this situation. So I'm going to show you a tool and how you could use this to help you navigate these situations better. So I told you on the last podcast, my deepest fear is feeling insignificant. And the thing that I love the most is, and contrast to that, right, is attention. So there's a deep-rooted fear within Chris that is saying, I'm insignificant if I do not receive external validation or attention, right? That is what is controlling me. It controls all my decisions, right? Some days I'm making videos not because I'm expressing myself. It's actually because I'm in fear of not being lovable. How fucking insane. Same thing with relationships, right? I could stay in relationships way longer than I should if I'm living out the fear, right? The fear is I'm insignificant if I don't have somebody around or I don't have some girl attention, right? So how do I navigate? How do I become the man that I want to become? How do I show up with self-security? I have to have a mantra, right? So my mantra is, I am significant even if nobody sees. I remind myself of that. I swear to God, if I'm having a moment like that, I am significant even if nobody's around to tell me that. I have value even if somebody else is not showing me that. And I live out the mantra. If I'm in situations where I'm in fear, I remind myself of that. I don't force actions. I don't show up in fear, right? Because I have that self-security. I'm building that self-security through that mantra. That is the belief that I want to have. You gotta identify the belief that you want to have, and you gotta work at it, right? Just like a bicep muscle. It's the same exact thing. You go to the fucking gym every day, don't you? Well, some of you. Some of you. Not at all. Figure it out. But for the people, right? Let's say you're a big gym goer, right? Oh, I love fitness. Okay. You like the discipline? Now, have you worked that hard on your emotional weight? Have you worked that hard on your inner world? Because that's what it takes. This is what it takes. The repetitions of believing the things that you want to believe in order to receive the things that you actually know you deserve deep down, beyond the fear. Think about it. Your most loving, confident self, you know what it wants. So have that mantra. And so for her, right, let's take the situation. Even as simple as shit. Let's say her mantra then becomes, the right person won't abandon me. Mantra. In that moment where you're having that anxiety, sit with it, feel it. Where is it? In my chest, in my stomach? Ooh, okay, right there. Breathe into it. Breathe into it. The right person won't abandon me. Say it again. The right person won't abandon me. How does that help you show up? If you knew that the right person won't abandon you, are you going to show up in fear? Are you going to cling a little extra? Are you going to send that text message? Evaluate that, right? So let's say you wake up the next day, he doesn't text you at all. You're feeling fear again, right? Oh, fuck. Is he abandoning me? What's happening, right? Most of my overthinkers, what then do you do? I want to stop it, right? I want to stop this feeling. So what do I need to do? Ego will tell me, well, let me just ask them directly, right? Let me just ask them directly and figure this out. Whoa. Mantra. The right person won't abandon me. if I was to be my most confident, loving version of myself right now, and I gave this person the benefit of the doubt, and I trusted that the right person is going to show up for me, how would I show up in this situation? I'd show up with confidence. And confidence is, I'm not going to text you just from a place of fear. That's insecurity. We don't need that. Now, if I see something funny on Instagram and I genuinely have something to share with you, I'm not going to hold back. That's avoidance, right? A lot of avoidance might be, hey, there's something I do want to say, but because I'm scared of abandonment, I'm not going to say it. But in this particular situation with anxious attachment, right, and we're feeling that fear, usually the action is actually no action. Usually the action is to sit with yourself, get more into yourself, let it go, right? Because again, he said that he's going to reschedule. So we need to let him be accountable to his word. And we need to be accountable to ourselves to the type of relationship that we want. So if he doesn't plan another date or another hangout, what are we doing here? Ego will tell us, oh, well, we need to figure that out. Or, oh man, I'm a piece of shit because they didn't want to choose me after a date or two. That's not true. That's not you. That's not personal. Let that go. Is there anything to even say to somebody if he doesn't reschedule and he doesn't make a plan? Yeah, is it going to hurt? Yeah, it's going to fucking hurt. Don't ignore that part. Allow yourself to be hurt. But you don't need to act from a place of fear. Lean into self-security, which is, okay, he showed me his true colors through his actions. I don't need closure. I don't need more clarity than that. You're showing me through your actions where this is at. What's the mantra? The right person will show up for me. The right person won't abandon me. And this is how we change those beliefs. It's very difficult. It's not easy though, right? Again, not taking those actions. And even if you do, let's say you do text him, you got to keep trying. Don't give up. A lot of people that I work with sometimes, one thing I will say is like, we make a misstep, right? Maybe fear beats us, which is fucking human, by the way. Let's say fear beats us. And then she's like, okay, but like, when are we hanging out next? What's going on, right? What's happening here? Okay, you said that. Now, it doesn't mean all the boundaries come down. Oh, because for a lot of my coachees, then it's like door just blows open, right? Oh, we sent the text message. Now it's like boundaries out the window. Now I'm just going to cling. Now I'm just going to hit you up. Now I'm just going to like ignore the fact that the entire time I just didn't feel good about the fact that you didn't even show up consistently. I've lost complete sight of my own boundaries and my own values. And then I'm back into the cycle again of dating some guy that doesn't give a shit about me. So use the mantra. I feel like that's really powerful. One thing I wrote down too, I thought it was interesting that he wrote down questions to ask her. I mean, this guy was definitely doing the most. I'll be honest. He was doing a lot. But that could be weird too. That could also be a flag for you in the future. Now, I don't think there's anything wrong with that, right? That's really sweet. He's doing the picnic thing, whatever. But the point I wanted to make on this part is like, it's what I said in the voice note about like, if somebody's doing the most for you after like one or two dates, like on date 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, if they're doing the most, I mean, that is literally based on a facade. That's based on their own fantasy of who you are. That's not grounded in they know you and they're just trying to get to know you and it's coming from this grounded place. That could also be a place of insecurity for him. That's what I'm trying to say. You don't even realize the insecurity on both sides. And again, we take it like it's only ours. And that's not true. Maybe him doing the most like this is his own version of insecurity that he doesn't feel his own presence is enough. There's some people that are so fucking performative because they don't believe that they could just show up on a date and just be themselves and show up with jeans and a t-shirt and vibe. And then part of that, right? It's like if he's that performative and then again, the next time that you guys hang out, you shut down sex and he did this picnic and he did the most, maybe he's feeling slighted. And that's what's crazy. It's his own hidden expectations for you that you didn't even realize. Now that you crossed that line, he's only going to do nice things for you now if you only sleep with him. Homie don't like you that much. That's it. And we got to fucking have a boundary for people like this. Big time. Big time. But this is the importance for everybody listening. The slowdown. I don't care how nice somebody's showing up at the beginning. It doesn't mean anything. It doesn't mean anything. Slow your roll. And you have to own that process. I mean, everybody wants to go at 1,000,000 miles per hour. And a lot of it, what is it? Everybody's an ego. Most people are driven by fear. Most people are driven by insecurity. Everybody's afraid to be alone. Everybody wants a partner super fast because they're not grounded in themselves. They're scared of literally being by themselves. And I understand that too, right? What is my fear? Feeling insignificant, not having this validation. What can that lead to? Oh, let's go on a date. Me hitting on every single fucking girl that moves. I want to speed everything up because I just want that closeness and I want that connection because I'm scared to sit with myself. Now that's a whole different motherfucking conversation right there, right? Which is, and I hope that you guys can, from listening to a lot of these podcasts, can be more grounded in yourself. Honestly, I would say that is the whole purpose of my coaching, is to help people find groundedness in themselves beyond a relationship. Honestly, it's not even about a relationship. It's about the relationship to yourself. I am trying to help you strengthen the relationship to yourself, the beliefs that you have underneath, so that you operate from a place of confidence and self-security and peace. You guys can go directly to those things. You realize that, right? You can live a life of peace, contentment, and joy. Not in a relationship, not based on the outcomes of your life. You know how many people I coach that literally say to me, I am just unhappy if I'm not in a relationship. That means you are going to be unhappy in a relationship. That actually doesn't mean that you're happier in a relationship. It just means that's where you're more comfortable because your whole life you're living from a place of fear. And the fear is that you're afraid to be with yourself. The fear of being alone is actually a disconnection from the self. It's a disconnection from your own self-value, from your own self-trust. You don't actually feel like you have value on your own. You don't feel like your life has value beyond a relationship. And again, to me, all you're going to do is create toxic connections that way. Genuinely. Because you need something from somebody else. It should be a want. It should be, I want to be here because I want to be here. And if I don't want to be here, I won't be here. And if you have this really strong connection to yourself, you can make those choices. And that to me is peace, love, joy, happiness, all of that. That's what that is the freedom. That's what we want. We want freedom. We want peace. Think about why you want a relationship in the first place. To experience joy with somebody else. But you can't experience joy with somebody else if you're not experiencing that for yourself right now. That doesn't make any sense. They don't bring that to you. Yes, they might bring external validation, which feels good and familiar to you, and you might perceive it to be peace and happiness, but it's not true. It's like me, right? It's like if my fear is being insignificant and I love attention, what happens when I'm getting attention? I feel great. I'm like, hell yeah. I got all the attention in the world, right? Oh, I got a girl? Fuck yeah, I can do whatever I want. I'm vibing, I'm chilling, I'm good. But what happens when that attention goes away? What happens when they show up inconsistent? What happens when the applause goes away from social media? What, am I supposed to feel like a shell of myself? Who am I, nothing? What kind of self-value is that? What kind of life is that? That's not the life I want to live. I'm done doing that. That's what I'm saying. Make these elevated choices for yourself. Sit in the discomfort. I'm not telling you that the route that I'm asking you to go on is easier. I'm actually telling you the route that I'm telling you to go on is harder. It's just like telling somebody to go to the gym. Is it easy to do that? Work out, eat healthy? No, it's not, right? Now, same thing with the emotional health. Is it easy to believe these things? Is it easy to make these decisions? Is it easy to put the repetitions in and fight your fear and lean into love and lean into confidence? It's harder. It's more uncomfortable, actually. Maybe it's the same amount of discomfort, actually. Because being in a toxic situation sucks, right? There's discomfort in both directions. You choose the route you want to go. I'd rather go down the route of building self-security and contentment and joy within myself by making decisions that are aligned with that version of myself than make decisions where I'm needing somebody else's energy and attention in order to survive. We all want love and connection, and you could receive those things. You could from genuinely good people. But the only way you receive that is, again, if you show up and you have that belief. No more scarcity. There are good people. And you know how you could prove that there are good people out there? Look at yourself. Do you qualify yourself as a good person? Do you qualify yourself as somebody that holds boundaries, stays disciplined to what it is that they want? Because if that's true, why do you really believe that there's nobody else out there that does that? I'm sitting right here. I feel that way about myself. If you're listening to this, I would assume that you're at least trying to get there. And I'm telling you right now, you're not the only person that's listening to this. Oh, attention, baby. Let's go. But do you see what I'm saying? There's an abundance of amazing people out there. There's an abundance of beautiful things that are going to happen for you. You got to trust that. You are safe when you are your genuine, honest self. Make the decisions to get rid of people that are not on that vibration with you. Seriously. Make decisions for yourself that are in alignment with your highest vibration. And we do that by understanding what those fearful beliefs are. We get into and we change them to loving beliefs and confident beliefs. And imagine if you had all those confident beliefs. Imagine walking around all day like, oh yeah, the right person's going to choose me. Oh yeah, actually, I am significant without the attention of others. Oh yeah, like I'm not attached to the way that other people view me. Sounds pretty fucking peaceful to me. And to me, that actually sounds like a person that people would want to be around. That sounds to me like a person that would receive a relationship because you're in your own energy. You're vibing. Think about the best friends that you have in your life. Think about the connections that you have that are lifelong. Are they vulnerable? Are they honest? Are they funny? Are they funny? Are they peaceful? Is it authentic? That's the core right there. The only thing that will ever last in this motherfucking life is authenticity, is the realest of the real. The only relationships that are going to last are the realest of the real, that are based on true love. Cultivate that true love for yourself. All right, guys. I love you. I'll talk to you soon. And if you ever want to work with me, yeah, you can send me a DM, I don't know, text, whatever. We can do voice notes. I also do the long-term mentorship. You guys know the vibes. But yeah, I would love to help you with your self-exploration journey. All right. I love you guys. Talk to you soon.